The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma. Chapter 1. Leadership and Success Are Your Birthright. Chapter 1 is all about a man named Blake Davis, who was born in Milwaukee and lived most of his life in New York City. Blake tells us a little about his background. Blake was a good kid as he was growing up. A heart on two legs is how his grandfather used to describe him. Blake was a good, intelligent, and friendly kid and never had it in him to hurt anyone until when his parents died. Blake felt like he didn't have anything to live for anymore. He lost all his confidence and focus and ended up being stuck. In Blake's early 20s, he drifted from one job to another and spent the remaining time wasting away and saw his job as just a source of income and a way to while away time. Later on, Blake decided to join the army in Iraq because he saw it as a good way to help him feel a sense of belonging. But even after being shipped off to Iraq for the war and finding his sense of belonging amid the messiness, he ended up being traumatized by what he witnessed in the war. He witnessed his friends and soldiers being killed in bloody battles. It was then, finally, time for Blake to come home, and he was also thanked for the services he had rendered to his nation. Sooner enough, he began to feel completely alone again, but later on, because of Blake's love for reading, he was able to secure a job at the bookshop in Soto. But due to Blake's pessimistic attitude, he wasn't doing well but was only saved from being fired because of his love for books. Chapter 2. My Meeting with a Leadership Mentor. On a fateful Monday morning, Blake just finished from a meeting at his workplace, which they recognized some issues the organization was having and a solution to the problem. As Blake was quietly sipping a cup of coffee and hiding from doing any work, he felt a tap on his shoulder, and when he turned his face, an old man who looked eccentric and a silver necklace around his neck that read LWT showed up. After a moment of silence, the old man finally spoke and called Blake by his name. Blake was surprised, but he did not know who the man was until the old man introduced himself as Tommy Flynn and that he was a good friend to Blake's father until he died. Blake was more surprised when Tommy said this. Tommy then stated out the reason why he came up to Blake. He told Blake about the secret to success, a new strategy that can change Blake's life for the better. After a long chat with Tommy, he was able to convince Blake that he still had a purpose he needed to fulfill instead of wasting his life. And Blake also seemed to be driven and thought of giving this new strategy a chance. Finally, after a long while, Blake felt alive. Chapter 3. The Sad Cost of Mediocrity and the Spectacular Rewards of Leadership Mastery. Blake was told to meet Tommy at a cemetery called Rosemead Cemetery by 5 a.m. because Tommy wanted to show him something. Blake was scared at first but still kept to time and met Tommy in front of two empty, already dug graves. It seemed that Tommy had dug them. Tommy was pleased that Blake kept time. He then revealed the meaning of the acronym LWT, which meant leader with no title, and then gave him the necklace, saying Blake deserved it. And it was a good start in order to be able to achieve the ultimate success. Tommy then told Blake to go into each of the graves, which had things in them he would like him to see. Blake was a little bit fearful but confident. He went into the first grave and saw a tablet and he picked it up. It had something written on it, which Tommy asked Blake to read out. It was the 10 human regrets. which consisted of the 10 regrets a human would have if he or she died without achieving anything good in his life. Then the second grave, which Blake had to dig a little deeper to find the other tablet, which was golden, which also had writings on them, which Blake read aloud. The 10 human victories, which a human will gain if he or she fulfill his or her purpose before they die. Chapter 4, the first leadership conversation. You need no title to be a leader. After a couple of hours, Blake and Tommy arrived at the first out of the four leaders' workplace. It was one of the best hotels in New York, and there Blake and Tommy met a beautiful and kind woman dressed in maid attire, and she introduced herself as Anna, who works at the hotel as a maid and is the first out of the four leaders. Anna enlightens Blake about the first principle, which is you need no title to be a leader. Anna teaches Blake that to be a leader, you must first lead yourself. She emphasizes the importance of self awareness, self discipline, and self responsibility. Anna also shares her own story of transformation from being a struggling lady to a successful leader. She attributes her success to commitment to personal growth and self leadership. Anna also expressed how much she loves her job, no matter how irrelevant it sounded to other people. To Anna, she felt that her job is the best in the world. Anna also shared an acronym with Blake. Image. I for innovation, M for mystery, A for authenticity, G for God, and E for ethics. Chapter 5, the second leadership conversation. Turbulent times build great leaders. After Tommy and Blake's meeting with Anna, they drove off to meet the second leader, who will share the second principle with Blake. He goes by the name Ty. He's a professional skier, but is not a skier anymore due to the injury he got while skiing in a competition. Ty sells skiing equipment through Ty sells skiing equipment. Through Ty's story and teaching, Blake learned about the importance of not giving up no matter the situation and leading from inside out, also making a difference from where you are. Ty's leadership is not about the position or title, but about the positive impact he has on those around him. Tommy also shared the five rules practice. Farm. S for speak with candor, P for priority, A for adversity, read opportunity, R for respond versus react, K for kudos. Chapter 6, the third leadership conversation. The deeper your relationship, the stronger your leadership. Tommy introduced Blake to the third teacher, Jackson Chan, a past chief executive officer (CEO), who chose to leave his company to follow his passion for gardening. The deeper your relationship, the stronger your leadership. The aim is about constructing relationships and human connection. Jackson emphasized the law of reciprocity, which is the most powerful law that guides human relationships. Jackson gave the principle of leadership, which was the acronym HUMAN. H for helpful, U for understanding, M for mingle, A for amuse, N for nurture. Chapter 7, the fourth leadership conversation. The deeper your relationship, the stronger your leadership. Tommy then took Blake to the fourth and last teacher, Jet Grizzly, who is a massage therapist. Jet taught Blake how to be a great leader and then, first of all, be a great person. He then emphasized on the art of being optimistic and to become a great person if truly he wants to be a leader with no title. Jet shared the acronym SHINE with Blake, which stands for S. Speak clearly. H. Health is wealth. I. Inspiration matters. N. Neglect not your family. E. Elevate your lifestyle. Chapter 8, the conclusion. Chapter 8 is talking about the death of Tommy and his burial. Tommy died due to the cancer he had. He also died a day after he took Blake to meet the four teachers of the four principles of LWT. Anna, Ty, Jackson, Jet, and Blake were at Tommy's burial. Though they were sad, but they were also happy because Tommy lived a fulfilled life. He also led without a title and impacted a lot of lives before he died. He was also able to successfully help Blake learn the principles of leading with no title and gifted Blake his will and his Porsche that Blake always dreamt of having. Years passed by and Blake was able to apply the principles of leading without a title and lived a very successful life. Thank you.